Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Please be joined by the one, the only Bryce Applegate. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Of course, you have a pretty stacked schedule coming up. Of course, with the Cars Tour set to get going here in just about a month's time. Just how excited are you about this upcoming year?
Oh, it's going to be amazing, I think, because I feel like it's going to be Daytona 500 every week in car series this year. I mean, the races are going to be tighter than ever, probably. I mean, more experienced people in the cars. I mean, I've got to gain experience from the series regulars now. I mean, as coming as a rookie, it's hard to have people race around you and know what you're going to do because if I get the impression that I'm not a clean racer, they won't race me clean. But if I get the impression that we can race, then we'll race. Like I raced last year with Ronnie Bassett for 30 laps. We swapped positions. Up, I was on the high side, he was on the low side. I mean, didn't touch fenders. I mean, it was a really cool to race with Ronnie Bassett because he's been in the Xfinity Series, and it was cool to race someone that has his. He's been in NASCAR. He knows everything about NASCAR. It's really cool.
Yeah. Okay, so since this is the first time you've came on this channel, usually I like to ask like how you got your start in racing.
So I tried every stick and ball sport possible. I mean, I was decent at them,
Okay.
but then my dad took me to the indoor go-kart track and we did three races. My dad beat me pretty good the first time. Second time he didn't pass me, and the third time I beat him pretty good. And the guy that owned the place, he wondered where I raced before because no one has ever gotten that fast there before. And my dad said I'd never raced anything before, and he wanted me to come try the leagues, and I won my second ever race in the leagues. And they had hour long endurance races, and it was 156 laps straight there, and I won the series in that. It was yeah.
Yeah. Just kind of talk about like what you've been in a lot of, you've been in a lot of different things throughout your career. What has it been like just to kind of see like all the different things that you've been in your time, all different types of cars and entries.
Yeah, the I've raced legend cars a lot. That's when my main focus is like a couple years ago is. And legend cars have the power to weight ratio of 0. So it's you can drive those things sideways anywhere you want to and they can still go fast. And it's I say you got to at least drive a legend cars because it gets where you can gain your car control from that. Because that car you can drive all over the place, still go fast. But if you want to drive that car smooth, you go even faster. And
Right.
so it's kind of and then that's kind of transferred into the late model where now the late model's been I wouldn't say easier to drive, but it's more different than because now I know and I get you can get kind of get sideways and still kind of save it and go fast and save it a little bit. So
So what was it like the first time you drove a late model?
it was actually so we found the first time we ever drove a late model, we found the late model. We bought it. We found it in the barn of Hickory, like in the backside of Hickory Motor Speedway in a barn somewhere. And they said it was race ready, so we took it straight to the track. We went with Josh Williams Motorsports, and he drove it the first time, make sure everything was okay, and then I drove it, and he said it was super easy, and it was way easier driving the Legend car. I can tell you that much.
You mentioned Josh Williams. Of course, the I have to clarify this. The Josh Williams that races in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. There's also a spotter named Josh Williams. So just wanted to
Yes.
hit the two. But
Yeah.
I've known Josh for a little bit too. So what is it like to have, to race for him and to have, his support? Because if you probably know, as he's just the, kind of like the old school throwback kind of racer. What's it like,
Yeah.
working with him, and how'd you meet up with him?
So the way we met up is I had a friend that raced legend cars at Charlotte, and I was gonna go watch him race two races to see if I liked legend car racing and all that. And we found out a seat was open in the Bandolero, and Josh put me in the Bandolero, and I won my second ever race in it. And I found out a couple of days later the car was older than I was. Like he won the championship in Bandoleros in 2006, and I was born in 2006.
Yeah.
And then we started racing electric cars for him the next year, and I was doing okay, but then after that, I had a pretty big wreck, and I was fine after the wreck. But then mom and dad came and sat down and said that you need to go work on the cars and learn how to work on them, manage them.
Yeah.
And so I left the house. I left the house at 14 and started working with him for 3 years now. And I mean, he's been like right now. If I probably haven't met him, I wouldn't know anything about working on cars. But now I can build my late model from the ground up, my electric car from the ground up, and I cannot have a white fire suit anymore because it gets yellow after a while. Because I get on. I mean, I lay on. I get under the car. I get dirty. I'm not just a typical arrive and drive kind of guy. I like to
Yeah,
get my hands on.
absolutely. Um, okay, so I mean, your wins and legend, your career in legend cars. I mean, with the record that you've had, I mean, just 5 wins overall, and all the good finishes that you've had. What makes it so good to get in what does it take to do as well as you have in a legend car?
It takes a lot of control because those cars can get out of control very quickly. I mean, legend cars have way too much horsepower for the tires are given. You got to control that horsepower to ground, and you got to have the right setup, and you got to know what kind of changes you want to be able to make because you can't make any setup changes during the race. You can only make brake bias that's only to one tire. And I've learned to like other drivers say they do not mess with the brake bias at all during the race, and I never stop messing with it. I mean, if it's a tool that can be used, I like to use it in the car. So, and I like, legend cars, you only run 30 laps. You think that's not really a long run, but it's longer than you would think in some races because we did a 30 lap race. It took 3.5 hours one time.
Yeah.
And it was just being going to work out and being fit for 3.5 hours because you never know how long the race is going to be because there's no time limit on the races, and being hydrated and staying focused for that long is important too.
Yeah. Um, okay, so this year you're back in the Cars Tour again. Um, so running for oh geez, Hedgecock Racing Enterprises. What's it gonna be like to be back with that team and to do to try to go after the late model stock title?
They are a powerhouse team, I like to call them, because they are. I mean, Mr. Hedgecock has 54 years of experience. I mean, he's put people in NASCAR in the Cup. I mean, he's worked with the best, and all of them. So it's cool to work with a team that has that much experience, and they're still trying to learn me because they haven't had as many drivers that like to work on the cars. And so I go to work in the shop as often as I can because even though I do school here in Kentucky, I got to go, and I like to get hands on, like I said, and they never had that, I don't think, before. So they got start
Right.
learning me and learning. We did a couple races last year. They're still learning my driving style, and I'm still learning how they want information and how they give information too.
Yeah. Okay, so like we talk about the importance of working on your own car. Like what are some of the things that you look for when you're behind there? It's like how do you make like what are some of the things that you like to do on like to make the car go fast?
Anything that will make it go faster, I like to do. Whatever it takes, I don't care. Like whatever the car needs, I'll do. But just knowing the knowledge of, hey, let's try half pound air pressure here, or let's try a different spring package that maybe a different driver may not know what type of spring package to use, or let's try this or that. That helps them make a decision quicker than trying to figure out try this, try that, and it's all ultimately go faster, quicker.
Yeah. Okay, so with this season coming up, what tracks are you most looking forward to? This is of course, obviously a lot of excitement around the ZMAX cars, the Cars Tour. What races are you looking forward to? Are you going to do any West Coast races?
I don't think so. That's a long way up there. Um, I'm looking forward to Hickory Motor Speedway. I love that place. I
Yeah.
like the old wore out racetracks that you have to work at and save your tires for 100 laps and go the last 25. I don't like, I mean, the smoother racetracks, it's kind of go as hard as you want and don't overheat your tires.
Right.
Old tracks, you got to save your rubber. And now that North Wilkesboro has been repaved, it's not as wore out now. It's brand new. So it's going to be totally different to be racing there.
Okay.
It's going to be a lot faster, I think. So it's going to be just interesting.
Yeah. And finally, just what are your goals? I mean, do you want to just stay in the cars tour? Do you want to go? Do you want to get into, an ARCA car or any of the top three levels of NASCAR or anything like that?
Ultimate goal is to be highest level that I could be at. If that's the truck series, then I'll stay the truck series. If it's the cup series, then we'll make you the cup. But I'm going to school for mechanical engineering, so I can, if I'm not going to be in a car, I want to be around a car at some point and
Okay.
even working for a team. And if that, I mean, still, if I can make it to cars tour and that's it, then I'll be the best I can be in cars tour. If I can make it to trucks, then that's it, and I'll stay and be the best I can in trucks. It's just how high the levels is willing to take me.
Yeah. All right. Well, Bryce, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck this Cars Tour season. And we're gonna have you on again sometime. How about that?
Yep, thank you.